Hello there, and thank you again for joining us for another segment of Mystery Arts Inc. It's been a long time, everybody. It's good to be back. Due to some scheduling conflicts and utter craziness, I haven't really been able to get these started again for quite a while. But luckily, I found a break in my schedule along with my good friend Bill Montana, and we decided we would just go on, record one of these impromptu, and cover some really excellent points. We're going to talk about things today such as, Bill's background. We're going to cover things like why back of room sales is a medium that most speakers, magicians, mentalists, we're all the same in my opinion, that most of us are missing out on, and why it's really important that we actually bring these things in to what we do if we really want to make some extra dough and make some cold hard cash. Also, we're going to talk about a few other things, what makes a great pitch item, table set. You'll see it as we go along. But first off, I'm sure he's flashed up here a few times. We've had the camera alternating, but we have the man, the legend, the Billy Mystic, Bill Montana.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great, Bill. Doing great. So, to get this thing started here, Bill, would you give us, I know you've done this a few times, you've seen a Penguin, Unbelievable Magic Place, all that kind of fun stuff, but would you give us a little background information, where you came from, how you got into this kind of craziness that we're all fondly in love with now, and why you took a separate path than most people tend to take that's kind of led you down some interesting avenues.
Yeah, it's the thing. I didn't come into. I started doing magic 7, 10 years old, that kind of thing. By 15 or 16, I was hanging out with Bob Mason. You can see a picture of him on the back wall. And he was a mentalist, and he was also the leading Punch and Judy performer in the country. And I was kind of into puppets at the time. I really liked them. So I learned some Punch and Judy stuff, some ventriloquism stuff, some Muppet type stuff from Bob. Then I started learning mentalism, and I also came out of charlatanism, faith healing, and some other racketeering operations. So I didn't come into this performance thing the same way everybody else does. Usually they come out of magic, and when they come out of magic, they have all this guilt built up that they can't really do psychic work. And then, at 17, I'm working in a psych department, doing other things. So, I'm coming from a different angle. Coming from the true mentalist, the traditional mentalist approach. Like Alexander, he did readings. I mean, everybody was doing readings. I mean, if you read Nelson and the Alexander works, you'll see that they're doing readings. They're doing stage shows, Q&A acts, ladies' matinees, and that's where I pretty much started at, just doing it for real. I don't see any reason to do mentalism, saying it's all a trick. It's just pointless. It defies the game. I mean, in another word, I mean, it's if I open my show with a disclaimer, okay, I'm gonna spend the next hour and a half trying to convince you this is real. That is a waste of time. So why don't I just go out and play it as real, and then deal with any potential consequences later, which usually there are none. So that was the whole magician argument they came up with. It didn't make any sense. Never did. I heard it in the 80s, I heard it in the 90s, I heard it in the 2000s, and then we're in 2015, and it still doesn't make any sense to me.
I completely agree with you there.
So I'm an anti-disclaimer kind of guy. I don't have any magician guilt. None. Because I don't care. I'm more focused on what can I do for my audience and how. Because the first thing, if you see my Penguin show, you'll know that I usually open up with something that mystifies the audience, that happens in their hands or with their hand in some cases, but it happens with them, directly with them, in their own head, their own mind, their own body part becomes bigger or something. For an example, like the growing hand. That pretty much establishes everything I need to establish, because they just witnessed a paranormal feat, something that should not exist. Now, whether they believe it or not is not my problem. The fact is, I've already induced that. I've induced that world into their mind. So then, then I'm going to come out and say, it's all bullshit. ridiculous.
Well, it's interesting because it's you wouldn't really while you write, it seems like primarily for mentalists. I feel like you have a different definition of what makes mentalism. Now, I've heard you say this before because you and I talk quite a bit. But would you relay the quote you gave me from Robert Nelson?
Which one? That mentalism's about making money?
It's about, yes. I like that one quite a bit.
Yeah, that's let me grab that. I only got one book on the shelf over here.
Right next to the original David Hoy Psychic Dice, I might add. We'll get back to that later on.
Yeah. That's I don't know if you guys can see that on the camera there. It's a first edition copy of Robert Nelson's work. And this one is signed.
Oh, really? Well, that's cool. I didn't even know that.
It was also belonged to, I think this is a copy that belonged to George Deal. He was a mentalist in the 50s. The Nelson work, covers a lot. And it's in chapter 3. Give me a moment, I'm trying to find it here. Wasn't prepared for the question. It's okay. And chapter 3 is literally like 3 pages. I mean, it's nothing to the chapter. Yeah, the Professional Mentalist Act. The Professional Mentalist has many and varied sources of revenue. I mean, that's that's the primary thing. And then later he's going to go talk about mentalism is a unique value. And it's designed to pitch something, Horse Code, pitch books, that kind of thing. Sorry, I got a back lawyer.
Interesting. So, really, the true kind of original intent of mentalism was to be kind of the, and correct me if I'm wrong here, because the way I kind of interpreted it is it was originally to be the big demonstration that sold the merchandise and back of room sales.
Well, not only back of room sales, mentalists at the time would do an entire mentalist show to promote a product like Clorox or bleach or whatever the household good was in the day. A mentalist is a salesman. Pure and simple, we are salesmen. Now, we are using a very unique form of entertainment to sell those products, but a lot of the old shows, you would see mentalists, doing a prediction type thing, and they would tie that to branding for the corporate product. But I don't see that today. I mean, today what you see is a bunch of egomaniacs running around that have no justification for ego.
Right.
Sorry, I don't have a kind view on mentalists anymore. I mean, I've seen some crap. It's worse than seance business. Doing seances, I don't even know what half that stuff is anymore.
Right. It's interesting to look back at some of these classical texts and some of these big names. Like recently, you turned me on to the David Hoy lecture, and listening to Hoy do a show is nothing like I envisioned a David Hoy mentalism show to be. It was literally, I don't think, the effects or the stories, and it's something that I think is lost a lot. Because today, when we in this kind of quest for ever more kind of impossible things, and ever more fair conditions and all this kind of stuff, I feel like we miss the essence of being able to just create a story that people can just tell in one sentence and pass along an experience to someone else mentally. Isn't that mentalism's really definition is making something in the mind and bring it to reality?
Yeah, and that's what David Hoy was great at. And you're speaking the college lecture tour. When he went around to college, he wasn't doing any tricks. There were tricks and effects that are applied or indicated in that, but there was no actual performance of those tricks. Like, you know, when you go to a mall and you stare at somebody's back of the neck, they turn around, or you mimic them, they turn around, and they react. He was teaching very valid principles of mentalism. A lot of people don't like that particular act. I love it. I think it's a great act. You know, almost an hour. And he toured with that. I mean, he toured with that quite a bit. Remarkable man. Came out of he was a reverend, people. Yeah, he was also a reverend, you know. So he came out of doing the reverend thing, and then went to mentalism, and then did some psychic detective work in Kentucky, trying to help some people find some missing, you know, bodies and stuff. Those results never went anywhere, so the cops never followed up on it. But he was an interesting guy. I mean, that's why I keep a David Hoy collection. I got posters around here and stuff. So.
I mean, he really is kind of one of the. He's one of the. He's the well-known, but really little actually known kind of OG of mentalism. It seems like he was doing. I mean, this once again. We'll talk about kind of motivational mentalism later on. Something you talked about in your Penguin lecture, but I'd love to give you like the freedom to kind of express it to your full extent here. But you know, it's one of those things I don't really understand anymore, because basically David Hoy is almost a speaker with special effects, and he did that so well, and it's all personality driven, which I think is lost a lot in traditional mentalism we see today. That's all trick driven, and that's it.
Yeah, a lot of it, like with Hoy, the Hoy case. Also, Hoy had a fantastic sense of humor. I mean, if you listen to the Walter Blaney story on Love, it's pretty funny. But a lot of it gets into, he was using applied mentalism. He was using the mentalism to express ideas and concepts that were outside the normal.
Mm-hmm.
Usually for the benefit of other people. If you listen to the lecture, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, he was trying to broaden people's horizons. And at the same time, he's putting out, you know, his predictions for the week. I mean, that was like a daily kind of predictions for the month, and predictions for the year. And it was a little newsletter he sold. It was back and forth about it. And some of this still floating around. But all that stuff is a complete branding package to Hoy. A lot of people don't understand. You know, like mentalists look at it like now, and they're like, "Where's the tricks?" Well, let's see. He created the Hoy book test, which is brilliant. The tossed out deck, and a bunch of other stuff these new guys use, but they won't give him any credit. You know, and that's just sad. I mean, yeah, he was around 50 years ago. You know, he was performing high 40, 50 years ago. But he's, the concepts that he laid down were, you know, revolutionary. Everything in that book's great. The Bold and Subtle Miracles of Dr. Faust, which I know saw by Dr. Faust. But I'm kind of more obsessive, but that's why he's a super psychic guy. He sets that David Hoy back on our project. We'll get into that later.
Yeah, since we're on Hoy, and I know from listening to like Doc and stuff too, I know also was it Paul Rossini also made pretty much his living. Everyone knows him as a card magician, but he was mainly a mentalist, doing readings and some card tricks.
Yeah,
I mean,
let me grab that. That's a fascinating piece.
Yeah, we'll take a moment and talk about the importance of back of room sales, and really this is one of the rare examples I think, which is great with having this interview. We can actually see what a superior back of room sales item looks like and what actually goes into the product design that makes this. Let me go back to yours and lock it on you for a second. Well, there we go.
We'll just turn that around there so you guys can get a view of this. And this is upside down there. There's your instructions. And this box is 2.5, 3 inches thick. You got a picture of the man on the front there. Super psychic dice. And what you do, when you got it, you would open it up. You have the empty box. You have your other instruction sheets. And then inside you have these little cubes of paper dice that have words on them. They were packed flat. And each one, there's 4 colors. They're packed flat, and you fold them up into little dice. These have been folded, but that's okay. It's extremely rare anyway. You put it back in the box, you shake the box up, and you mix the dice. And then, so your packaging becomes part of your idea there. And then, you got the viewed arrangement that orders white. Hang on, here's white, yellow, green. No, I'm sorry. White, purple, yellow, green, and the last one is red. And then this would spell out a sentence or a phrase. I shall see success now. That's what this particular shake reveals. So that would be your prediction for the day. And then all of them are just basically it's grouped dice that each one will spell out 5 different things depending on how you read it. So dice 1 says, I, or it could have said he, you, it, she, she shall see success now. But if you read it, and in the next one, if I just change one of them, it reads, she must see success now. So it's just a branching kind of anagram kind of thing, already spelled out with words. And it goes back to, early David Bowie. Big fan.
Well, and it's strange to be looking at something like this because it's the first time I've seen this actually.
It's like 50 years old, 40, 50 years old. So, you're not going to find those every day.
Yeah, I remember you told me you found those, I think. It was just recently, wasn't it?
Yeah. I bought off London Urban magic deal. Or guy selling off his collection, I should say. He's got a lot of magic. He spent some time working for Bill Bruy. I learned a lot from him, and then inherited part of the Bruy estate after Bruy died. Bruy, for you guys that don't know, is a guy that invented Bessie the cow, which is the wood block on the board. They tie and pour passes through. That was one of his.
Huh.
But a lot of guys, he's out of Cincinnati. I had a little shop over in Queen City that was almost never open back in the 80s when I used to go there. But he had a wonderful collection of gimmicks, gizmos, gadgets, or rope ends, rope magnets. If you needed some stuff, it was all in the back drawers, behind the counter. So you'd walk inside and need this, and he'd go, oh yeah, here you go. You need a bang ring for this. And here you go, here's a bang ring. You buy pieces and parts, or rope gimmicks, or poles, or whatever you want to do. Plus he had illusions and silks and other nice stuff. He invented a lot of silk magic. Really cool, interesting little guy. He used to wear a fez, a red fez. Yeah, it was nice magic. But it was one of the rare magic shops because Bruy was only open when Bruy felt like open.
It sounds like it's kind of like I guess I can't refer to Radio Shack anymore. It's non-existent, but it sounds like almost kind of like a higher end Radio Shack magic shop. You just go in, get your supplies, and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, he had a lot of. He specialized. One of the specialties at point, this is an 85, 86, had a lot of accessory items. Stuff so you can do other effects or create your own stuff or that kind of thing. Extremely valuable for any magic shop, really. If you can find the stuff. Because now, I just bought a set of rope magnets the other day off London again, actually. Probably old Bruy estate items. But we're not rope magnets. The rope, they're inserts that twist and lock. So it's like twisting a little screw that goes inside the rope. Move it in. But it's just one of those things I liked when I was a kid, so I already bought it so I can have it for collection. It's just not, it wasn't a thing I would do anything with. It's just one of those collection things.
Well,
back wall, my collection's not all magic.
Right.
I mean, there's a couple of magic pieces. There's an Attaboy up there, and there's a piece from the 60s. That's a medalist piece. It was made in like the late 50s. Over on this side over here is a S.L. Riley spirit lamp. But the rest of it is pretty much non-magic related, except for the picture of me. But then, if you look over there, you'll see some other stuff. Let me give you them all. It's interesting. Left on Lincoln. I don't know if you guys can see this. this little hypno wheel. It's a Bob Mason brochure. I ask questions, answer questions, tell stories, and make things. You know what that is.
Yes, I do.
Virgil Poster, Keith Penguin. It's a 1930s fortune teller. There's 3 of these now. It's, you have glasses. Glasses are missing. Lee McLeod only has 6 of his original 8 glasses. The glasses were marked on the side or etched and went down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So as you drink your drink, you say, check your fortune, and then you drink your drink, and then check your fortune. Then you look at 3, you know, the third glass, and then the third. The glass will be down on the bottom. So you have 3 on the bottom, and go down and find the third fortune, your fortune of your drink, your alcohol. It's a nice item, you know. Case pennies, these are African currency that contains the soul of a warrior or an ancestor. So if your brain gets broke, you take to the witch doctor and have it fixed. This is another piece of African currency. It's an Ethiopian sacklet. This, we might cover this later just today. It's Vaishnav in Ethiopian Greek. African 19th century steel shield. But yeah, I keep a lot of, you know, spirit lights, Buddhas, and other stuff on the wall. I don't have a lot of magic stuff in my collection. What I do have in my magic collection is really high-end stuff. You know, and the reason I did that is because if I look at an old piece of magic, I'm not going to get any new ideas for an effect. But if I look at other stuff, I'll get more ideas, like the shield, even though it's made out of iron. I might get an idea for blocking. You know,
right.
Or being cover or hide something behind something or something to that effect. Because that's what you're doing with the shield. You're hiding behind something. So I may have my gaff and I hide it behind something.
Well,
but I'm not going to see that if I just look at magic stuff.
Yeah. Well, one of the things you have a big ability to do is come up with these. I mean, even a lot of people have said this. You know, I've read Pulse, I've read The Link, I've read The Touch, I've read, you know, most of the stuff that, you know, they're really available right now that's yours, the ebooks, the, you know, things like that. And the thing is, we've talked about this before, you know, even the Michael Weber book that I, a while back, posted a small video about, these really valuable information out there are not these big, thick books typically. They're usually these little tiny pamphlets that are just kind of quick to the point and describe it and have like little hidden subtleties and secrets in them. But one of the things you're really good at is you look at other places, like you're saying, and you look at these weird, bizarre kind of things that most people would go, oh, that's neat. But you look deeper into it and you figure out these incredible stuff from it. A while back, what was the? I can't remember. I watched quite a bit of it. What was the video you sent me of the pseudoscience?
Oh, from Borderlands, the museum.
Yeah.
Where they give you all the radionics and other equipment, like orgone blankets and radionics and psychotronics and psionics stuff, energy grids and a lot of paper stuff. But all that stuff can be applied directly to mentalism and give you context. Now, a lot of guys now would say, you know, well, how does that have any context? Let's see, it was created in 1925. I'm pretty sure it's got enough time there to have context. So it's not like, and if they look that stuff up, like the color light wheel rays or whatever from the 1930s, you know, you see some flashing lights back there. But if you're looking at color and introduction of color, you know, there is 80 or 90 years of what we classify as pseudoscience backing that up. You know, so there's all these other things that are backing up. That gives us context to do this little weird thing with light, or this, or a context, not necessarily the context, but it gives you at least one context.
And for those of us just watching, do not apply this idea to delights, please.
Yeah.
Please don't. Please don't. Don't use this and go, that's a great premise for delights. Don't do it, please. For the love of God. I'm your friend, man. Just take it from me. Don't do it. But it's true. I mean, bearing in mind, Borderlands it's heavily scientific. I mean, it's not like super engaging like you're watching a Bill Nye the Science Guy show. It's just guys literally sitting there talking about these just bizarre and strange pseudoscience things where they have these almost incredible uses they're talking about.
Yeah,
And they-
devices that were built, tested, and proved working. But everybody said they're fake. Well, how do we know? Is it a placebo effect all the way through? If it is, it's the greatest collection of placebo effect devices in the entire planet.
Yeah. These are super placebos.
And this is 4 hours of you guys talking about device after device after device after device. So, but all that can give you context for something else, and you can apply that into motivational mentalism or your act as is. If you're using that.
Right.
Project. I'm not really big on it. I mean, I've created some great stuff that is considered technically propolis, but technically, in my opinion, it's not propolis.
Right.
Because I think you need a prop. I mean, it doesn't. A prop doesn't have to be anything big, but you need to. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. I get something. Like if it's a clipboard or something, I gotta have something in my hand. There's something. The audience needs something to focus on.
Right.
Several thousand times because they got their iPhone when they walked in and they were focusing on that phone before the show. So once you take that phone goes in their pocket, they start watching you. Well, then you in a way become the entertainment. But where's the phone? Where's the object they need to focus their attention on? And that could be like just this, or it could be a set decoration. Let me explain that. These were made on an idea from Bruce Ballard. This is actually the Ballard one. These are glass insulators. Can you guys see those?
I can see it.
They have a little color changing line in it. I modified it slightly to blink a certain pattern, but a certain time delay pattern. But see, and we can use these to focus the object's attention. This is one of them on the stage. Sitting on a table next to my little dish where I'm going to burn a billet.
Right.
But I can keep attention on to something else. Some people get sucked into the light and they'll just meditate out. Or we can use if I'm doing a psychic party or something, I might have I might bring one of my weeping monks. I don't know if you've ever seen those.
Oh no, I haven't seen those.
Yeah, the story is it's an image of a monk that weeps for you, so you never have to cry. His life is shit, but he weeps. He does all the weeping for you. So I have several.
Interesting.
I don't have any problems because I got weeping monks. They take care of it for me. He basically takes all your sorrow and just you feel sorrow, so you don't have to. Good thing. But
another important thing to mention here is magicians watching this might go, oh sure, but normal people find this stuff extremely interesting, especially the metaphysical community. Ooh.
It's a little dragonfly. It's made in Thailand. He just balances and floats on something. So if you got your pins there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like say you have pins or whatever on thing, put this on top of your pin that's gaffed, and then you know which one's gaffed in the bowl. You see, it'll just sit there and float around in the air and move a little bit from time to time. So when you go to grab your pin, the special pin, take that off and grab the pin.
Oh, cool.
Among other pins, where you take a pin, I'll take this off, lay this down, I grab my pin, the one I need for the effect. Here, take a pin, take a pin, take a pin. We're going to use some markers. There's a lot of effects that have 4 or 5 markers. But if I have a special marker I need to introduce for, say, the next effect, I'll have this sitting on top of that special marker. And he'll just float there, little dragonfly. But it's a way for me to mark the thing without looking weird. And it goes into the pins, because we're going to hand the pins out later.
Well, another thing, too, is people aren't really going to reach in and grab the pin with the floating dragonfly on it. That's another nice thing.
They'll grab this before they grab the pin.
Yeah. Well,
so they won't realize that pin actually weighs like 7 ounces because it's got a gigantic bang.
Yeah.
Which isn't going to be a problem because I'm going to use it later. I mean, that's but that also helps me mark the pin I need to do what I need to do. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just simple stuff like that. I mean, you got to think differently. And that's why I pretty much stopped reading a lot of magic works unless they're like Ken Dine's new book and stuff like that. Because they're not covering it. I mean, yeah, I agree. I get effects. And I won't even publish the stuff they talk about. I mean, I'm notorious for, not publishing my patterns, because I published my patterns a couple times. They yelled and screamed and complained. I'm like, well, what do you want? You want the effect or you want the pattern? Pick one. These are two separate things. They're not going together anymore. Because, my personal presentations I use in some of the higher end gigs, I'm not giving those away. That's where the money is. That's what distinguishes me from, Matt down the street.
It's people just they want to be different because of the tricks and not because of their personalities or what they say, it feels like. But ultimately, it seems like the words have the most power in the end in these kind of situations. So we're talking here about some of the small aesthetics, and you're really good at designing. I mean, for a while you worked the psychic market for a long time, and you still do occasionally.
Yeah.
What kind of goes in, once again, tying in the back room sales as well, we've seen a good example of what goes into a truly great psychic pitch item. Like, do you know, by the way, what was Hoy selling those dice for back in the day? Yeah,
a couple of dollars. I mean, it was 1972 or something, so probably $2-3. Probably cost him. I mean, now that product would cost us, a lot more to make because everything's more expensive. But you still make a nice back of the room product on your own, with the technology we have, a lot cheaper and easier in most cases. Pitch books are great. I got several around here. My name on it. So you don't even need to write your own book. You go over to like Ray Carlisle and say, hey, I need some pitch books. Here's $50. And he goes, here you go. Here's some pitch books with your name on it. Go sell it.
Right.
And then you go for $1.50 and sell it for $5 or $10. But all that's going to add up at the end of the night. Let's say your guarantees, back to the rooms, let's say your guarantees a few $100s, hypothetically. I won't get off my ass for that. But let's say your guarantees a few $100. You should be able to pick up, 50% to 4 times that back to the room sales.
Right.
Guarantees 300, and you sold 150 merch. Now you're getting paid $450 for the deal. So that's a low end deal. I've done gigs where guarantees X, and I doubled my guarantee.
Wow.
Selling, yeah, back the room sales, pitch books, books I've written, on particular subjects and stuff like that. Like Joe Crafty, I have actual books. They're ready to go.
There you go, boys.
General dreaming, specific dreaming, and then we have a training program for new age guys to learn how to craft dreams for clients, which is the big market too. So we changed the rules. I applied marketing to magic. A real marketing, not this thing that most of the magicians call what they call marketing like crap. It's not marketing. Because they're not trying to build an emotional connection with the clients. They're just trying to say, hey, I'm great. That's not marketing.
Right. I feel like, it's about like, when researching speaking, and what I'm moving into more is, use mentalism as a speaker, and that's kind of where I'm moving towards. I know you're moving kind of moving in the same area as well.
Yeah.
And speakers don't make money primarily from their speaking fees. I mean, even Anthony Robbins, who's probably I don't know, would you say Anthony's one of the highest paid speakers on the planet? I'd say yes.
Yeah, close to it, yeah.
He's selling merch, dude. He might make $1 million for an appearance.
Yeah, I saw not too long ago that said, for the program's normally $2,500, but for the first 50 people, you can get it for $700. And 50 of them took, more than 50 people took off and ran to the back of the room trying to buy this kind of stuff.
Right.
Probably cost him $20. He just sold it for 750 people.
Well, it's that serious value.
I mean, that's 35,000 right there, and that was on a free talk. 35 GPs. But his entire, his entire speaking motivational pitch was to get you motivated so you buy the product.
Right.
Really, really good at it. The guy's phenomenal. You can go out, buy a hotel room, set up a conference, get people to come to the conference. That's hard to do, harder to do than you think it is, but gets them to come in, then he's going to sell them some merch.
Right. I mean, everybody, I mean, seriously, everyone that's watching this, take a moment and look up, speakers that are out there and speaking tips and all that. You'll notice that really the big thing that every speaker, performers kind of miss out on quite a bit, I feel like. And we say merchandise, we're not talking about mugs and, shirts with your name on it and hats.
We're talking about that stuff too. That is swag. I mean, that is a part of the thing. But we're talking about more than just that. I mean, if you have none of that stuff, that's a great place to start. Get you some coffee cups, get you some T-shirts, maybe some hats. That's good for your personal branding. It's good to get your image out there when guys mow the lawn in your show T-shirt or something. But that's nice. That's nice stuff. But we're talking about like pitch books that you wrote. A book that says you're an expert in this field, especially if you're doing circuit speaking.
Right.
You want to come off and say I am the leading expert in this particular niche right now. And that niche may be how to teach your parrot how to talk.
Right. And
Frank Hearn for 3,500 hours on that bad boy. Look at him now.
Well, it's bizarre because I think there's a statistic I remember reading somewhere about reading and becoming an expert. And apparently, if you read at least, I think once told me if you read at least an hour a day on your particular niche subject. Another one told me if you read at least, I think it's 5 books, 3 to 5 books on the subject, you instantly know about your subject more than generally 85% of the world. Just doing
85% of the world. I mean, if you read 100 books and then spend 20 hours just doing nothing but focusing on one particular aspect of that, you're going to become extremely proficient fast.
Right.
I mean, fast. I mean, I learned Vedic breathing and Vedic technologies in 20 hours. It was grueling 20 hours, but I learned the Vedic stuff I needed to learn. Like I learned Vedic mathematics in 20 hours.
And really, it's like you give yourself a tighter goal, you get more done anyway, and you get more kind of integrated in. That's a subject for another thing.
Yeah, but that's the point though, because you're focused. You're focused on that subject to learn that subject as fast as possible.
Yeah, Tim Ferriss has a lot of good work on that, especially in his 4-Hour Chef book, which is all about. It's the guise of a cookbook. Cooking is the model, but the meta learning procedure in it, I've applied to almost everything. Really, Tim kind of is the main character of this idea of becoming a world-class anything in 6 months or less. If you really put yourself to it and really put the hours in.
Yeah, and there's guys that are going to teach you, the psychic stuff I do. I teach guys how to set up the tables, the fairs.
Yes. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's do it. Image at the fair is everything. You don't want to look like a Ren Fair hippie next to you that it just smells like weed, because that's not, you don't want to attract those types of customers. You want to attract the high-end clients. Now, granted, some of your high-end clients may smell like weed too, but they're definitely smoking a very, very better branded stuff than the other clients. So, they paid more. That's what it comes down to. But they don't want to come into a booth or a table to have a reading done when it's all dirty, nappy. Your table covers are wrinkled, and it looks all shoddy and handmade. which handmade can be a good thing, but if it doesn't look right, it's going to cost you money. Like, say, for example, you can get a trade show table right now, like a little 4-foot trade show table. It's about 2 feet wide, 29 inches high. And then you can go on eBay and buy a trade show cloth table cover. It goes over that. It's fitted to the table. So you got your top, your table top. You got your skirt going around. The back of it's pleated. The whole thing's pleated around, and the back of it opens up so you can sit up at your table, but they'll sit back slightly from you. But I mean, that's $29 and a $40 table. I mean, it's that, and then you run across that, set up your parameters, and you got your reading space, and got a clean table. You got your pitch materials on the book on stand. Let me explain that. I don't know if I actually ever explained that. Okay, so I got a picture frame or a picture stand, plate stand.
Ooh, that's a nice one too.
Yeah, that's a good one. That would be a book on stand. Now that would be sitting on the corner of my table, wherever it might, usually on my right, or however the traffic flows. If the traffic's coming in this way down the hall, this is going to be on the left. Let me back up. Kind of hard to do some of this on the thing. Okay. So table's here. Traffic flows this way, and through this way. The book would be here. I'm using that as an attention grabber because I've written a book on fortune telling the dice. Something simple. But it's a little paper book and it just sits there. But I want them to see that, and then I got my reading stuff here. So there's my pitch item. It's no longer in the back of the house. The back of the house is behind me. In this case, it's actually in the front, on the table. But that's the only thing I got on there. I got, how to read tarot cards. My book on how to read tarot cards. It's a pitch book you buy at regular Lowe's for $49. And they got my cloth, they got my layout sheets, and I got my deck. But there's my added bonus. It's $10, and a lot of people buy the book. Some people just buy the book, not even get a reading, so that works too.
Right.
Move on down the road. But that would be like a book on stand or something, small. Now you don't want really big stuff like the big banners, the roll down banners that are on the jet sets or whatever, not jet sets, but the stands, that wide is high. Now this could be behind me on my table. So all I have is a table, right? Two chairs in the front, and I might have my banners, broadcasting my book and my reading ability or whatever, whatever I'm selling or demonstrating. And this might be behind me. That'd be my frame. There's a book, clean table, So everything focuses to this.
Well, it's all just visual suggestion in the end, right?
Yeah, roughly. But yeah, but I've already got my pitch books, and then the rest of my book, because I use that cover table, the table skirt is covered. The rest of my books is up or down here. The back of it's opened up. It's a V opening. It's two pieces of it. V open. It slits like that. You open this up, Velcro that to there, Velcro that to there, and I got a V on it so I can slide underneath the table, so I can get a little closer to the table. Although the spectators will be a little bit, on the outside of that. It'll be like my desk. Here's my reading desk, and then here's the chair, two spectators, and then I got my book present. And I got my backdrops, my advertising, and that's it. And those two things fold up. They roll up, and they're like $100, $200, whatever. Roll up, and they're on little stands. Pop them up, boom, 5 seconds. Pull up my 4-foot table, sit my 4-foot table down. Another 10 seconds. Throw my cover on it. Throw the table runner across the table. Put my one stand out. My box of books is underneath the table. Here's my book. Here's tarot cards. I'm ready to go. Or pencil. Okay, I'm ready to go. The rest I'm trying to figure out. Spend most of the morning trying to figure out how to set their booth up.
Yeah, it's better to go what you're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, they're next to me. The one next to me spent 9 hours trying to set this booth up. We set up on Thursdays. The show starts Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We got it early set up on Thursday, or early set up on Friday. She's still setting up while the show's up. I'm already done. I walk in, boom, but I'm out in there in 3.5, 4 minutes. And then I'm over, you know, talking to people, drinking coffee, you know. Because you can tell the pros are the ones who come in, okay, this is my space, yes, boom, 2 chairs, 3 chairs, 2 chairs, table, it's 2 chairs on the outside, table, cloth, runner, book on stand, my chair, 2 banners, and then I'm over having coffee with my buddies, you know, having a few laughs.
Right. Well, they're on social. The clientele base before the game apparently began.
Yeah. Now your banner, you might want a banner that says, you know, your table runner. If you go to an embroidery shop, you can have them embroider in the center of that, like 3 square rectangulars, you know, for your cards, your tarot cards. You know, if you're doing 3-card reading. So right in the center of the runner, it's got 3 rectangles. You know what I'm saying? The rectangles for your cards. You're going to do 3-card reading, or it's got 5 or 7, or it's got a tarot spread. It's already set out on the runner, because the runner's about that wide. And then this side says Billy, this side says Mystic. Pretty much tells them everything I do. You know, damn tarot decks in there. You know, that's pretty much. You know, so it says Billy Mystic. They know my name. They see my name here. They got the books, and then you got the stuff right there. You're done. Well, that whole setup costs you $300, $400. Well, the banners are $200 a piece. 4, 5, maybe 600.
And really, you'll make.
I'm gonna make that back in one day. Because they're all gonna ask the question, who is this guy?
Right.
Your booth looks cool. You look cool, and you know.
Yeah, if you look better than everybody else there, it's rest in the package.
You look like the high-end reader, and then the other people know that stuff was not cheap, like the banners. You know, even if you took felt letters, that's felt letters cut that you bought at a thrift store or a craft shop, and you know, embroidered them and sewed them down to your table runner, whatever table runner you want, as long as it matches, and then you have your tablecloth. Now you can use black. I try to avoid black. I usually go for like bright blue or something, kind of like your tie. Black seems to, yeah, black's fine for the suit, but it's not fine for the
right.
in the psychic fairs, because they you know, they feel black is negative. So you gotta understand a bit of their psychology. But this is how fast you set it up. Now, let's say my traffic flow, you know, one day the traffic's going left to right, the next day it's going right to left for some reason. We all know it happens. What do I need to do? I reach over, pick up my book on my stand, I move it to the right side of my table, so it's in the oncoming traffic flow.
Yeah, you
So I just change the traffic flow by moving book on stand. You know, if the traffic flow changes, I move one thing, I'm done. Now, the person next to me spent days trying to figure out, you know, which way the traffic's going to flow into their booth so they can highlight their key pieces, you know, that they make a lot of money on. That's why they're there. But, you know, she's got her big amethyst geode over here, and the traffic flow is coming this way, you know, from right to left. She has her big geode on the right. Nobody's seeing the big geode until they turn around and look in the booth. You know, the geode's $6,000. It's 6 feet tall. It's kind of hard to miss, but it's rare. It's expensive. It's big. It's beautiful. It would have probably sold if it was on the left side. So she, you know, she's going to play balance. You know, she's got to move a 400-pound geode.
Right. So basically, really, it's customized to your environment more than anything.
Yeah, it's. You got to know your environment. You got to know layout. You got to know where not to set up.
Yeah.
You don't want the first spot when they walk in the door. You know, the main door's here. I don't want these spots.
You want it more in the middle.
Yeah, in the middle, maybe towards the end is fine. The middle's better. These 2 spots right here, the first couple spots, if they walk into a show and there's 50 dealers, they want to see everything. Who's who they going to pass by first? You. They're walking right by your ass. Because you don't even matter. There's so much stuff to see. So they don't, you know, they want to see it all. They may come back later, but if you're in the middle, you're fine. Back by the food court can be good or bad, because the vending areas, that can be good or bad, because a lot of people are going to migrate that way. Or some boys, they see you pick up secondary traffic
Right.
after they eat. You're not going to go on the way into eating. You'll get on the way back from eating if they don't think, oh, I need to go see Shirley over in the booth 17 way across the thing. So you're kind of screwed. It's kind of a tricky little deal. But that's set up. I mean, you got to think about these things.
Yeah, for sure.
Because now I'm saying this because I've set up at these booths, these front booths. I set up at food courts. I set up in the middle. And I set up over here. Each one of those has, repeated. I mean, it's not like once or twice. It's like I've done this many, many times. The middle's the best.
It's right there when they okay, time to already.
And you want to be set up there right around the time they start going, I think I want to spend some money. Right about the time they start thinking, I want to spend some money. That's about the time you want to hit them. Because, the opening, they still got the whole show to see. They get about halfway. They start thinking, well, I should get some things while I'm here. And then, they're going to bob around for a bit, and then they're going to make a decision. It really does make sense. My system is very clean, very effective, very easy.
Well, it's not it can apply to. Once again, if you have people watching this that are speakers, that are magicians, you can apply this to what you do. You can do this at, for those of you who don't mind, on right now, you can do this and subscribe to that and make good money. These are techniques to apply, but trying to preach to you right now is embrace rap skills and make yourself with your backroom sales skills. It's really not that hard to do as long as you can tap into what you're supposed to be doing anyway, understand your behavior and how kind of creative how to make it for you versus against it.
Yeah. Because like all of these psychic fairs now, or holistic health fairs, a booth rent, to get a table space is $350. For the weekend. In some of the shows, $250 in others, $75 in others, and some of it's $1,000. Big booths are $2,000. Now, if you spent $2,000, you would really like to break even.
Yeah. That's right.
And breaking even is really not a good thing because you lost money on all the merchandise, but you didn't lose that much money. You lost less money than you would if not selling it. And you're going to flop some shows. If you're going to flop 1 out of 10, guaranteed. I can guarantee you'll flop 1 out of 10. More likely 3 out of 10. 6 of those will be mediocre. You'll make expenses on some of them. You'll make a little money on some of the other ones. 1 of them you'll get paid. That's the new market. If you don't know anything, if you know stuff like I teach and some of the other guys that I would teach, we can take those mediocre shows and turn those into some small profits. The market's changing fast, but we can turn those mediocre shows into where you're making a profit, losing money. So, it was worth your time doing. You made a few $100 or a few thousand.
Right.
You can't make money if you go all blind. You think, okay, I'm a mentalist. I'm gonna do my first tarot reading in the local fair. You're gonna learn some stuff. You're gonna learn some stuff fast, or you can read my stuff. Those 2 books are actually free if you know where to get them. Those publications, but they'll tell you about contracts and all that stuff, what it basically means. But those 2 publications, man, they'll save you 20 years worth of work.
Yeah, I have. They're great.
You applied my system to your reading table. I saw the before and afters.
Yeah.
And it helped. I mean, you were starting to, pick up business.
Right. It's not a market I do a lot doing things like that, but anymore at least. But it's still definitely helped and really increased my traffic flow just for doing that. It's
Yeah.
just small things, those minute things you never think to do, but those make the big difference. So,
Yeah, it happens.
well, we've got some good information set up on pitch, backer boom, safe. Let's go ahead and talk about a few things I know we're really passionate about here. Let's talk about
I'm sorry, you're breaking up. You're breaking up. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Better?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about flipping the premise. And I'm going to let you speak for just a minute. And I've got to real quick, so I'm embarrassing, but I got to I'm going to let you speak on flipping the point of how do you take it? It's not a demonstration, basically, look how big my is, but it's more of a demonstration of look how amazing you are. And what we can do, we put our line, certain goal.
Yeah, I can do that. Go ahead. So the thing on flipping the premise, especially, and this really does apply to you working as a psych. They're there to see you to help, for you to help them with their problems. And really all you're going to do is make a few simple suggestions. And you can probably do it in a Milton Erickson type fashion. And that's in which you're going to recite back to them whatever they just said to you. So if they bring in anger to you, you bring some anger back to them. So in an agreement sort of way, you're going to use an Erickson technique. And then at some point you're actually going to flip that premise. So you're going to, instead, I'll explain this. You're going to make them the mind reader in the case. And the classic example is the flip premise is a spectator's mind reader, which is an extremely strong moment for the audience, because the audience really doesn't know what's going to go, because you haven't really telegraphed anything. But when somebody in the audience reads your mind, or reads the mind of another spectator, which is even stronger, the whole shift, there's a dramatic shift that occurs in the audience. They start believing this stuff is real, because it just happened to this person. And a simple way to do that is pendulums. I mean, you can do it with pendulum, you can do it with ESP cards, where you have the cards and what shape is this? And they say, I have a stack of ESP cards, and I say, what is this? And they say square, and they turn it over, and it's a square. Now, or, I'm talking about ESP cards and flipping the premise. I say, I want you to tell me what this card is. I'm holding a deck of ESP cards. I say, what's the top card? They say, cross. Well, I turn it over, it's cross. But the cards are actually stacked in a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 order. So all I got to do is a double lift right here, and I can get across. Now that's 2/3. They say circle, I turn up the top card. They say cross, I turn up the second card. Using a double lift or a triple lift. It would be wavy lines. But in a stack, they're not going to see that. You know what I'm saying? So just in a double lift, I'm at a 40% chance that you're going to get it right out of the 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's literally too, because you've got multiple counts in that too. There's so many ways to simple as that, and I think it's overlooked. It's in their hands. It's in their hands. I have a similar thing. I use this card. With that. I don't want to give that away because it's fun.
Yeah, but like the thing I was saying, you got a stack of 25 cards. Hang on, I'm seeing if we got any oldies. Yeah. This is an old Duke deck. So let's say I made it what is that? What's the card? A star. No, the star's on the bottom. Very good then.
Oh.
See what I'm saying? Now I got 3 outs.
Yep.
So, I said no, the star's on the bottom of the deck. Because it's in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 order. So if it's the circle, I just turn it over. If it's the circle, I turn it over. Now, the only ones I'm not going to turn it over in this case is wavy lines and square, because I want them to mix at times. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I don't want to make it too easy. But if I got it set up where, you know, it's like this, and they say the cross, I turn it over, and it's the cross. It's double. You know, because there's the cross and there's the circle. It's the double lift.
And it's
So now I only got 5 cards to play with. So the only ones I'm not going to be able to get to unless I do a triple lift is the 3-way reliance or the square. See what I'm saying?
yeah, and you can really it's easy to verbally kind of push people away from those symbols as well.
Yeah, and you can do that in a number of ways. But then another way, if I need a person to do spectator's mind reader, I can say, you know, what is this top card? Let's see if you can do it. And then if they say circle, we got a correct answer. If they say cross, I'm going to do the double lift. We got a correct answer if I want a correct answer. Or I can say no, it's a circle. You see what I mean?
Right.
If they say star, I say no, the star's on the bottom of the deck. But that's good. You're getting better. No, well, it's on the top of the deck. So they're half right. So, you know, it shows them that ESP is possible.
Right.
Because what you want to do is you want to convince them that this is possible with using their own mind. You're just more experienced at doing these kind of things.
Right.
And then, you know, you lead that into, here, take these 5 cards, I'll take these 5 cards, look at one, sit it down to the side, put the rest on top, and then we'll trade packets, you know. And then we'll find our cards again in those packets, and we'll set them back down on the table. And then we turn it over, they both match. But it doesn't look like I'm doing anything. But, you know, there's these weird coincidences that start building up and building up and building up.
After a while, it can't be a coincidence.
It can't be a coincidence or something. There's something psychic going on. See how you build it? You go from you getting it right or wrong. You know, if you say 3-way lines, I say no, it's a circle. But nice try. You know, then we can go into the routine. Or we can go, if you get it right, or if I want you to get it right, you start your half right, cross your half right, and then we can go right into our routine. See what I mean? I just know my odds of you actually getting the card right.
Right.
With 3 out of 5. I'm going to double lift one. I'm going to show you the bottom card. I'm going to pull the top card. So you see any 3 cards there, you know, circle, cross, or star, and still be correct.
Yeah.
And then I can use that correctness or incorrectness and go into a different style of thing.
And I think it's strange. Well, yes. One thing I said this earlier. We would find typical, really incredible people. ESP cards are talking about this. Really simple, working really well.
Yeah, and those are basically the Duke style that came out of Duke University in the early 80s. You can still get them at the Ryan Laboratories. They still sell a deck, original Duke deck with a Duke chapel on the front cover. Yeah, it's $20 a deck. You buy them directly from Ryan, the Ryan Institute. I'm not paying $50 for a deck that's it's smart. Who gives a shit?
Right.
I got 25 cards. If I can't remember 25 cards in a cyclical stack, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't really need these. I don't need a mark deck. Now, the only mark deck I really like is the Paralabs mark deck. The one that's got the Paralabs logo, because you got the Institute in Berlin, Germany. It's like the equivalent of the Rhine. And then you got the square that goes around. That's a white card. It's pretty simple. It's deceptive. Now that's a good mark deck, and I can use that, but that's about as far as it goes. I mean, a lot of the mark decks I don't like.
Right.
The Rhine size or bridge size, so small. They're not the big poker size. But if I'm using an ESP effect most of the time, I'm doing the close-up setting, so it doesn't need to be a big deck.
Right. Can we just say get rid of your ESP cards right now?
Yeah, you don't need a. And that effect is 10 cards. I'm gonna set it up. I'm gonna do the opener like I just talked about. What do you know what this card is? To kind of prove to them maybe if they do or they don't. If they do, they got some psychic ability. This should be interesting. And then we can go into the routine where the 2 cards at the end are going to match. It doesn't look like it, when you do the routine, but at the end, they put both cards up and they're the same. It's kind of a clever little routine, real simple.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It doesn't take much. It's simple and taking a step back and saying, let's see if we can make your ability domestic.
Yeah, and with that, the second part of the routine, you're trading cards back and forth.
Right.
You know, so your tail's there, but they didn't see your tail because you shuffle the deck and you trade these. I'll take these.
Yeah.
Going back and forth. So it's a little byplay, but you already know because of that rotation what is and what is not you're looking for. So real simple, real effective. Old idea. I revised it several times. Make it just a little cleaner at points, but it's easy, man. It's just, you know, boom, and it's effective. And there's a match. There's a coincidence.
Well, yeah, simple is the way to go with everything.
Yeah, and the coincidence at the end of the effect is great because you have that coincidental, you know, oh, what was that? That was an interesting coincidence, and then we're building onto that. So mind reading can be just about coincidences, you know, strange and wonderful coincidences happen every day. And we can merge that into a motivational speech or whatever we want. I can do that walking.
Right.
As there's a lot of stuff you can't do walking.
So on mentalism, what? I mean, obviously, Corey is extremely well talked. Again, it's amazing. But what do you? Anybody else really? Yeah, well, I guess there's a lot of motivation. I mean, the argument Robbins was because it's
You're breaking up.
Oh, I am?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if we can going back here. I'll just for the what's going on. You hearing me better now?
Yeah. What was the question?
Oh, well, a lot of mentalism. Once again, we talked about not only Robin, a lot of people were doing, like Robin's, his whole career originally, was based off twist.
Yeah. And, you know, Robbins is also using induction techniques, too. Grounding induction techniques. Can I get a yeah? Robbins, Tony Robbins. You know, can I get a yeah? Say yeah. Say I. Say I. You know, which is a metaphor for yes. Say yes. You want to buy my book? Yes.
Hey, don't say yes.
Yeah, you want to buy my book? Yes. They all do because they've been conditioned to say yes for the last 2 hours.
Right.
He's also providing some nuggets of wisdom in there that can actually help benefit your life. He's not doing it for free, but I mean, he is. But you know, I mean, he's being rewarded because he's getting, you know, law of reciprocity. He's giving and they're getting. You know, he's getting something in return.
Right.
I think it's a genius philosophy. I think every mentalist on the planet should be listening to Tony Robbins.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. I mean, if you want some premises, more to do anything than magicians, you'll learn. Once again, watching speakers, going things like Toastmasters, doing speaking events, and looking at the stuff Bill's turning on, pseudo strange psychic work. You'll find so many unique things that you can people genuinely find interesting.
That you can talk about and turn into an interesting presentation. You know? And that's the thing. You can talk about those things and turn that into your presentation.
Right.
So you have a context, you have a story, and it's unique to the point that nobody else is going to be telling the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, look at Jerome. He's doing Newland, and he's a faith healer. And he's done it. So he makes it live.
There's a couple of us, yeah. But you know, it's like let's say motivational mentalism. We're going to talk about making money.
Okay.
In a West African culture, this is cash. It's an iron spirit engraving on it, but this is money. This is a form of African money, primitive African money. So, you know, our money wasn't always paper. So I can use this as an object, or I can use these. These are, I'm just going to call them all. These are Frank Channel box there. I don't know if you can see that. I'll hold them up there. Those are kissy pens in the ore run. They're iron money. But, you know, 200 miles out in the jungle, paper money ain't going to do nothing for you.
Right.
But iron money, like this, you know, I can turn this, even though it's a decorative form now, but I can turn this into an actual spearhead to hunt food. I can turn it, remelt it down and turn it into a knife. You know, I can use it for building architecture or something like that. So that's an extremely valuable form of currency. So I can use my currency to do something. And this one has incised lines all through it. It's about 19th century. But the point is, you can, I've got some of these, but the point is you can do other things with, you know, what is considered money. What is money for? And then it kind of goes into, you know, if I'm going to give a money talk, I use that to explain, you know, primitive tribal monies. You think these people are primitive? Well, they're trading iron for cash.
Right.
You know, that iron spear right there could probably buy me a goat.
And then there's a primitive that right.
Yeah, there's also a lead into that. You know, I can lead into what is money used for.
Right.
You know, what is money? What do we use our money for today? You know, from primitive iron currency to that, and we can bridge into these unusual gaps of like speaking tools. You know, but I can use that as an educational device, a prop. You know, picking the props, or that shield could be considered currency. And the shield's fabulous. I mean, that same pattern that's on the shield, the dot pattern, that's pounded in the shield would have been on the warrior's body in scarification. You know, that was his brand. I mean, his whole body was scarred like that. So that pattern was, you know, literally put on his body when he was a child. And he was a warrior like a child. So tribe. So, you know, when he got a shield, that branding pattern that was put on by the elder on his skin, you know, that's permanently scarred, that scarification, that would match, you know, that shield would match that warrior. That's how you knew it was warrior, you know, shield it was. Because the scarification on the body would be the same as on the shield, so the same patterns. Kind of hardcore, but you know, it's an interesting concept. That
it is.
Yeah. So then he goes iron shield, and you know, it's got the magic pattern of the warrior. It's also status and branding thing.
Yep.
So a lot of people think, you know, a lot of guys are saying, you know, well, there's no reason for branding, you know, in magic and mentalism. Excuse me, what did you say?
Yeah, I was about to say.
Well, yeah, you're an entertainer. You need to brand. You need to brand your entertainment line. You know, brand your personal line. There's a lot of guys that tell you they don't do that, and they, you know, wonder why they don't work. Because nobody can identify with them. They don't know who they are. Best kids in the show, magician best balloon guy I've ever seen. No branding. Nobody knows who he is.
Right.
He would brand himself, you know, as the world's greatest balloon guy because he can do some stuff with balloons I've never seen before. It's amazing. But, you know, he could brand that. He could turn that into a brand, turn his name into a balloon, you know, write down the cards or whatever. But he could, you know, on the balloon guy, he could brand that. I mean, that's brandable. And then, you know, by branding it, you know, people would say, who do I get for my next birthday party? He would say, oh, you want the balloon guy. Because he also does adult balloons, like Tito the Bandito. He's a little Mexican. Seems racial, but it's kind of funny. It's a little Mexican guy with one of those big funny Mexican hats.
Sombrero?
Yeah, sombrero. He makes his little balloon doll. It's about this big with a little, you know, sombrero, and he's got a little pop belly. And he says, rub the belly, and they rub the belly, and he pops his heart on. It's funny, but I mean, it's a great balloon sculpture just because it does something, you know. And he gives it to the girl, and they get a big laugh, and this guy's like 60, so you know, 60 or 70, you know. But it's, you know, that kind of stuff. So you can do balloon sculpting, little erotic balloon sculpting at your adult parties, you know, your adult cocktail parties, which they all find funny and amusing anyway.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
You know, or the dog with a little wiener in the belly, you know, where he takes a balloon, breaks it off, and it actually ends up in his belly. The belly of the dog, so it's got like a little pregnant dog one there, and it's got something in the belly. You know, just all kinds of stuff like that. It's just, but you could rebrand this balloon thing, you know, balloon sculpting, which I don't do anymore. You could rebrand, you know, and become the balloon guy. Then you're wanted by not only that, they know you do children's parties, they also know you do cocktail parties. So now you've got this dual outlet, and this is important stuff I'm laying down here, people. If you're a balloon sculptor, get ready to get paid. You're not standing around in your clown costume, you know, at the flea market collecting, you know, tips on balloons. You're actually blowing balloons for a party, making $250, $300 a night. You say cocktail parties, you know, you might say my fee is $400 an hour, and they say fine. These are light and funny. They're wearing around balloon hats, and you know they're just having a good time getting drunk on martinis. You know, but you set it up into this, you know, avant-garde kind of, you know, surrealist type party. And you show up in proper attire, and you know, you're now a cocktail host. You know.
Well, it's moved you from the what am I trying to say here? A novelty into a necessity.
Yeah. And then, you know, a lot of people are still having these high-end cocktail parties a couple times a year, and you know, wine hors d'oeuvres and balloon hats. Okay, that works. You know, some semi-pseudo, tasteless and erotic, you know, balloon sculpture going down. You know, the bachelorette party, the balloon guy, you know, making bachelorette. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? I mean, there's a whole new genre out there. The balloon guys, you know, if they work with somebody for 20 minutes. And I'd be happy to, like, you know, fill them in on some of the hidden details of how to take their, you know, their kids act, rebrand it so they can make a living.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I mean, look, you know, manufacturing in this country is pretty much gone. You know, but this guy, in my opinion, is still a, you know, American champion. He's still in manufacturing. He's manufacturing balloon animals. Hey, that's fun. Make something. But you know, they and there's all kinds of neat stuff for doing with balloons. I went for a world record in balloon sculpting at one point. You know, had a team. The world's largest balloon sculpt. We got about halfway through, and the dragon flew away in the wind.
Oh, really?
Breaking, yeah. It was not fun, man. We were like 20,000 balloons in there at that point.
We'll be pissed.
Man, it happens. It's gonna have 40 or 50,000 balloons in it. Make this big dragon. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
I mean, but you know, this dragon was not small, dude. His thing was got 100 feet long. But you know, we wanted to do something. We were screwing around. We wanted to do something. We had a team. You know, one guy would mine the pump, another guy would, you know, tile the balloons, another guy would install the balloons. You know, it's kind of cool.
So you need a lot of for that.
Yeah, you know, you got something to do.
Jesus Christ.
You know, what else can you do with 50,000 balloons? So make something huge and let it float away. But, you know, it was a press thing. I mean, we're doing it for press.
Yeah.
Balloon. I mean, I'm talking balloon sculpture, but a mentalist can rebrand just as easily.
Yeah, yeah.
A magician can, you know, if they apply their brain and they create a conceptual image for themselves, it'll all work because everybody will know who you are. You know.
Yeah, it's really any more in today's day. Do it. Figure out ending. Like go on Fiverr.
Exactly. I mean, you know, go on Fiverr, get some video clips, you know, of your name, so it looks all trying to get pimp. I got for Billy Mystic. 4 of them for like $5. You can't beat the deal.
Yeah. Let's go do the same thing for mine.
Spend more money. Yeah, so you know, you got those, and then your personal image. You know, you can clean that up a bit from time to time. Like you got the new image going on there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then you got, you know, like there's a lot of books too. Robert Marcy's books. You know, not necessarily on branding, but business card identification.
Well, you got footage and everything. You're gonna promo reel. Real good branding. Footage.
Yeah.
It's okay, but it's not ideal.
No, I mean, yeah, it's better than nothing, but you have to have those. It's a whole package. It's not just one element. It's just, there's multiple elements that got to be obeyed. And then, what color you're wearing, what color is the website, what color is this, what color is that. There's really a skill, kind of a technique to the whole thing to get it to do what you want to do. I'm not a web encoder, so my website looks terrible most of the time because I don't know how to do web coding. That's what I'm learning now. It's a little bit more challenging than I thought it would be. I'm getting better, but it'll take a while to be able to pop that thing back up and get, do what I want to do. But you got, Robert Marcy's books. Kennedy's got a book on marketing right here coming out.
Yes. I love
Ken Dine, known as Kennedy in the shows. Brilliant UK performer. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. And then, Phil Smith did the book covers and gave him some nice branding on that. So, I mean, even within our selected community, there are people with great talents that can, help you rebrand your image.
And all you gotta do is usually they're attitudes. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, just throw a few $100 here and there and get what you need.
Yeah.
Because that's going to come back to you. Because, when the client sees that, the client's going to be like, hey, I like these guys.
Yeah. Exactly. They're not likable.
Yeah, I mean, it's a branding marketing thing. And I think most of the time, most of the guys are spending way too much time on learning how to do something in their show, which is an effect. And then, hey, that's great. Learn how to do the effect right, but at the same time, you got to expand and get into marketing branding so you have somebody to show the effect too. Otherwise, you just wasted 500 hours of your life learning how to do the muscle pass for 2 years. It got 2 years to throw that coin up 24 inches. He's been doing it about 30. I mean, it's just, boom, there it is. And that's one of the highlight features in this coin routine. You really order to take the storm. But that's the thing. It's all branding. But I mean, after that, after you learn all your tricks, your 6 or 7 tricks you're going to do on your show, it's all branding. Personal branding, and then sell the show, and then make a living off it. Because that's what you're trying to do anyway. I mean, I know hobbyists that want to go pro because they hate their job. Go pro, but you got to brand it. There's other factors involved in magic and mentalism besides tricks. Y'all kill me with tricks. Yeah. I got enough tricks coming out of my ass. I don't need any more tricks. What I need is brand.
I wanted to mention real quick. Is Mental's Creation Lab.
Yeah, Mental's Creation Laboratory. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the old 2006.
I talk about these guys, little gifts given me over the last year.
I recognize that. Yeah, the nickel glisk.
That would be it.
Yeah, that is a shiner.
This is a hell of a shiner, is what it is. Let's see here. Keep that for a sec. Get her out.
Yeah, the shiners actually come in the hard cases so you can keep it protected when they're in the door.
Yeah, this thing's shiny. Quite help much.
Yeah, I don't know if you get a reflection on that, but yeah. One side looks normally, the other side's a shiner. That same shiner was also featured on John Riggs' Essential Slights for Mentalist DVD.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, John actually came up with a new use for it too. Good DVD, I recommend it.
Beautiful shiners. I mean, you have a little shop. You make all these handcrafted, right?
Yeah, I got skills, man. I got multiple skills.
These are beautiful, beautiful products.
And you got another
shiner.
Yeah. That's the Montana Glam. I don't know if you can see that there. That's a small finger clip shiner.
There we go. So we keep it on.
Yeah, that one will actually clip in between your fingers like this.
Yeah. Grab area.
I'm going to show that because I don't think a lot of people see those. Yeah, that's the Montana Glam. And that's really small and it's pretty much invisible. And you're only going to use that for certain type. And see, that's the thing with shiners. Not all shiners are used for everything. So, like, some shiners are used to detect what color am I looking at on this car, like the big orange spot. The Montana Glam's really good for that because you're free to move around. You know, pick apart, get your peak, go about your business. And then you got spinning nickels, the finest bevel on the planet.
These are my favorite. All of the all the nickels have been published with heads and tails and all that shit. Screw learning that like use it. You can do it anywhere. But these things, if you want to do a show and do it professionally, this takes the guesswork out of it. I love these things. These are my favorite Tinker toys, right? I'm mentioning
yeah, the bevel on those looks like a normal nickel. There's not really much of a bevel there at all.
Yeah, I mean, if you you're screwed. Unless had these kind of face designs, you can't really see what these face designs are. So I get it back. Cover it. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's the Jerry side. When you got Westward Ho, it's like a Western. No, it's Buffalo.
Yeah.
But the bevel on those is so slight. You know, I mean, looking at point from a normal distance away.
I mean, spin it. Always.
Yeah, and it's a real slight bevel. Like most of the guys that were making them have this bevel on that you spot 10 feet away. That's not good. Mine are barely beveled, but they're beveled enough to where the pros use them.
Get the tail. Set it up and we're going to spin it again. You got your head. I know you can't really tell.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's beveled. And then mine. Yeah. Yeah, see, there's the bevel. Look at that. Does that look like a spinning nickel to you? No. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it
looks like a normal coin. Yeah. There's not much of a bevel there. And the bevel's, it looks normal. It doesn't look like there's a big 45-degree cut on the thing, like most of the spinning nickels on the market are trash. And that's where a lot of the pros switched over to mine. Neil Strider and Ted Karmelovich, one of the books, put out a thing on spinning nickels and used my spinning nickels because they work and they don't look obvious. And then some other guys who use my spinning nickels. Yeah, available at Stevens Magic Emporium, Wichita, Kansas. And I think right now they are free. No, that's not the one that's free. He's got one of my effects that's free with a $160 order. Special.
Yeah.
So you don't need to, I mean, a lot of times you don't even have to pay for my stuff. It'll be given to you with other stuff. So.
Yeah, these are Kennedy's heads and tails. You were there as well.
Kennedy's heads and tails is cool, though, man.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have it's cool because you use a bigger coin. But if you want a sure shot, that's it. Never gonna fail.
Yep. Well, it is. I mean, really, the thing is, you can still do flapping the coin down. Everything works with this. It's beautiful.
Well, in this case, you could have another spectator spin the coin, so you never have to touch the coins.
Yes, that's one of the main things.
Yeah, and that's where those come in. I mean, if you need a routine where you don't actually touch anything, it works real well. I forgot to even set it up. Hang on, I dropped one of the spinning nickels into a pocket of one of the guys there, and I completely forgot about it. I was doing the show, so I was going to borrow a nickel, and somebody actually left one of the spinning nickels in the pocket. I didn't even think about it, but because I got sidetracked. One of the guys actually had I planted it. I just threw a nickel in his pocket. You know, like the old up the sleeve move. I just tossed it in the pocket. So he probably didn't even know it was there.
Right.
But when I borrowed a nickel later, I said, "Who's got a nickel?" I said, "You, sir, give me a nickel." And I already know what's going to spin.
I mean, shit. Worst case scenario. Let me.
Yeah.
You mind if I hold on to this as a memoir of the occasion? There you go. Look at false transfer back in there.
Yeah, and you just, I make them so I can do that. But I mean, I wouldn't recommend that for most people unless you get it back. You forget it, you lost a nickel.
Yeah. Oh man, I cry when I lost mine. They always every show I have something in my pocket.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I get done, I check, and I make sure to go back in the case. It's one of the beautiful package too. It is a life.
Yeah, and then we talk about that for a minute because that's kind of cool. That's one of my packaging theories. The packaging, spinning nickels, the shiners. The shiner's got a nice plastic hard case to protect the coin. That's that case there. And then the instructions are wrapped around that, and it goes in a little plastic bag. That's it for packaging. There's not a lot of packaging up there. I'm not spending a lot of time on packaging. All that packaging. The spinning nickels, do you recognize that case?
No.
It was made in like 1983. It was for floppies, 3.5-inch floppies.
For what?
3.5-inch floppy.
Huh? Oh no!
Yeah, before CDs they had full floppy drives, a whole like a mega piece. I bought a bunch of cases off one guy one day, and they said Alpha. As you can see, that case says Alpha.
There it is.
And there's how that's how the branding came about for Alpha spinning nickels. They have a bunch of extra cases on, yeah.
I didn't know that.
But it makes it nice so I can pack it in there and I don't have to worry about the cases when they're shipped,
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's nothing exciting about it. I mean, it's just an old floppy case, but I'm reusing stuff that normally would have been thrown away.
Right.
Because that stuff's just filled with landfill, so I'm reusing it. And it's also protecting the coins. It's a bright orange, so dark showcase. You can look into the showcase or your bag, a show. You go, okay, there they are. Crack it up real quick, grab the nickels out, and you're ready to go.
That's really
I think about those things in advance, and then it's the card in there. It says Alpha Spinning Nickels, name card, and then instructions. There's nothing major to it. It's because what I'm selling is I'm selling the coin. I'm selling the edge work on the coin, which is phenomenal. It's phenomenal edge work. I mean, if you've seen the old ones, they had a bevel that was about like that. The coin would be like coming down flat here on the side, and the bevel would be like that. I mean, you'd spot that bevel 14 feet away.
Yeah.
Mine, guys are using them up close, and they're not seeing any difference. So.
Yeah.
And those are now only available at Stevens Magic Emporium.
I once grabbed one of the nickels and I showed somebody a little bit of them, and I said, "Fun." I said, "What's wrong?" Nothing. The other thing I've been asking, "It's a nickel. Why?" Spin it again. Spin it again. Spin it again. I kept doing it. Okay, somehow it waited on one side, right? Oh, God, he would never miss that.
Yeah, they'll never see it. I mean, I've done it where I've taken a nickel, I've taken one of the nickels, and I said, you want this coin to spin heads or tails? You know, and I got two of them. I got the other one palmed here, and I got this one here. So I'm going to drop whatever one I need to. Let's say he says heads, I just lay the king down. I should spin it. It'll spin heads. And it does. It spins heads. I should take it home with you because it'll spin heads for the rest of its life. The coin will never spin tail again. So, you know, they're still playing with them. I mean, I give them out like that. And it's still a bizarre thing. There's a couple more exists that sit there and go, heads. If they don't know how it works, they don't care.
Right.
You know, they say, okay, you know, you want to give me $150,000 like contract, I want $200,000. Let's spend for it. Heads. There you go. Mm-hmm. And they're swindling beers, you know, or big deals off of spinning of a coin. It's gap. They don't know. They don't even know it's gap. They don't know. All they know is this is a magic nickel that only spins heads. That's all they care about.
Yeah, man. They're these are, by the way. I'm not trying to push you all to do whatever, but at the same time, these learn how to use a shiner.
Yeah, let me grab another thing here. I'll show you that. I think it's pretty cool. Go on the other. Now this isn't the first edition copy of the bridge. This is the new bilingual edition. I don't know if I can get that. There it is.
Oh, nice.
That's the bilingual edition. It's English and Spanish. You know, the front half is English, and then the back is Spanish. Spanish version, which that's actually kind of cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's the title page for the Spanish. And that's the bridge. So that's the dream crafting work, and this is the bridge 2. And then bridge 3 is going to come out, but at some point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they'll be this size too. Bridge 3 of all sizes. The original bridge, first edition printed copy is about a quarter of this size. So it has a glossy cover like that. But this is the bilingual edition. The bridge, Bridge 2 has not been translated into Spanish as of yet. Just the bridge.
Mm.
But that's not bad. It's one day. The bridge in Spanish. So, you know, that opened up. Mark did it because he has a lot of Spanish customers in Spain and Brazil and stuff. So, those are both available from Stevens Magic Emporium, Wichita, Kansas.
Nice.
And
Beautiful
stuff. Pretty much my only dealer. Except for a few ebooks, off of eLibrary.
Well, Bill, closing thoughts or anything we feel like we talked about at all?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, I mean, for a guy starting out, let's cover that just for a moment, because I think it's a good point to end on. Guy starting out, figure out what your brand is. Now, brand is not character. Okay, so like in the Bizarre Magic, you always think, you know, I got to work on the Mel says, the Mel from Bizarre Magician says, I got to work on my character. Well, the character is this. This is the image of the character. You know, that's the character. That's not the brand. You need to have branding along with that. So I mean, they spend all this time working on the character. Do I wear the red suit or the green suit? Who gives a shit? Work on your branding. It's far more important than working on your work on your branding and your market image. And if you go to the web, like over YouTube, you'll see guys like Topher Morrison talk about giving speaking tips and really good stuff, actually. And a bunch of hundreds of other guys. I mean, Dan Kennedy, watching the Dan Kennedy stuff on copywriting. It's brilliant. And I mean, there's a lot of the guys, Joe Bauer, Dan Kennedy, Jay Abrams on marketing. I mean, all this stuff is stuff that, as magicians and mentalists, you guys should be knowing, because you can apply that and increase your revenue.
Right. Right.
And you increase your revenue so you can buy more of my products. And my buddy Kennedy's book, and Don's book there. You need to be buying these things. Yeah.
You can find it, Michael.
It's getting hot. It's getting hot. It's heating up. I heard Stephen's might have to reorder or something. He's running out. But so if you want to get a copy of that, I get a copy of that soon.
Yeah, really.
You got a copy of it. You love it.
I do.
Michael Weber stuff. I mean, Michael Weber stuff.
Reading it earlier.
Yeah, I mean, this is a few pieces of wall. Like a few of my boys. Left. Can you guys see that? I don't know if I got to glare at it. Left on Lincoln, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. This penny head actually changes from right to left. I mean, it's an extraordinary thing. Not terribly cheap, about 50, 60 bucks, whatever. Only 1,000 made. Definitely worth owning there. But no, this is cover that. We'll talk about that. Now this is from the 70s. This is another piece out of the vintage collection. This is Bob Mason. This is the guy I studied a bit. Okay. Now this is an old 70s pamphlet. On the back we have some information here. You got testimonials in the back. This is from Soupy Sales, old 70s guys.
Oh, so really?
Yeah, he performed Soupy Sales, Lawrence Well. This is Anne Francis and Charles Chamberlain, Richard Chamberlain. So, he's got his big testimonials there. He's got his back on there. And then you got, the front, it's 70s. I mean, this is contact information. On the inside, I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, explore the world of ESP. I mean, that's a nice tagline. Here's a little column. Talks about Bob. That's Bob. Talks about his deal, but it's just basically 8.5 by 11 folded, printed, vintage. Not too many of these survived. I mean, there might be another one of these in the world, or this could be.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with this kind of thing, holds you spellbound, keeps you laughing, audience appreciation. I mean, he's given those key points that, what his show is. Who is he? What does the show do? He's, explore the world of ESP. It'll keep you spellbound. It'll, keep you laughing. Audience participation. I mean, it tells you basically what he does, and that's it. That's his little cheap pamphlet. I mean, this is in the 70s. But you don't get to usually see a lot of this stuff. I might post photos of this later so you guys can take a closer look at that. But, right on the front, Bob Mason, can he read your mind? Can, not does. So, he's leaving that doubt question. See that?
Yeah.
Can he read your mind? So, it says, why would I want to hire this guy? And in the 70s, that was a very effective piece of advertising. But the same things can be applied today, because the thing is, the guys now will say, so and so, I read your mind. No, not I, not you. Can. See, you change the vocabulary. Because
much more.
Because if I go into a show and say I can do this, then why the hell they want to see it? I already told them I can do it. There's nothing for them to see. They already know I can do it. It doesn't matter. But can he reach? So, there's that little byplay between the audience and, or in this case, the booking agent. Because the booking agent said, well, let me see if this guy can do it. This sounds interesting enough. Maybe he can do it, and I like to see it. If I said I can read your mind, Well, he's like, okay, great, the guy's on my read my mind. Now what? He goes over to this guy and goes, hey, this looks interesting because he might be able to fail. You know, there's that dichotomy there that works really well, and a lot of guys don't use that kind of stuff. You know, it's changing one word from I can read your mind, or can he read your mind? You know, it changes the subtle vocabulary shift. Makes a big difference. And Bob knew, you know, Nelson, probably where he got some of his ideas.
Right.
But that was from the 70s, 34 years ago. But the stuff still applies today. You know, today we just got better access, better printing in full color, and all that stuff. But it's the same type of thing that, you know, can help your brand. That's part of his old branding, you know, his promotional package. But you know, we can look at the older guys and we take their ideas and look at them in a particular context, like, you know, the front cover's got a picture of his face. I mean, it's a weird cover, yeah, sure, but it's the 1970s. You know, it's prior to the 80s where everybody was blowing out of their mind on drugs.
Yeah.
First part of the decade. And then they'll go, hey, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. But the second part of the decade, they'll start, you know, waking up. But, you know, it's that branding, though. It's that branding of the image, and he's asking questions. He's not giving demands. So that also helps with personal branding, like the blue guys talking about. You know. Those guys should be working all the time. They're not. I know a few of them. They're not working nearly as much as they could be. And their rates are really reasonable compared to what we charge. You know, as a keynote speaker or a medalist or whatever, we charge ridiculous amounts of money, and we get it because we ask for it. But it's that thing, you know. It's the difference between I and can. You know, is a perfect example of good marketing strategy that can be applied to your brain. Create your brain, create your image. And don't change it every 10 minutes. I mean, I'm considered one of the world's most controversial mentalists because I'll say what's on my mind. You know, and I'll do esoteric mentalism, which is pretty much way out on the fringes. And the stuff I'm doing is not for me. I'm not going to be the one taking the applause. The audience isn't going to take the applause either. A lot of times we'll just see it as real, and that's the end of that. But that was my point. I mean, I was trying to get them to, you know, experience, to have that experience of real, as opposed to, I'm so damn great.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not into that philosophy. Philosophy doesn't work. It's much more powerful to empower your audience. If you empower the audience, they will empower you.
Use that.
But most of the guys will never learn that. They still go into this ego trip. Ego trip's wrong. I mean, a little of that's good, you know, a little ego, you know, a little sneakiness there. A little ego is good, and I like the way Kennedy does that ego thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got some style to it, you know. It's not just like, you know, a prick, and I know. But he's also making fun of himself at the same time. So.
Oh yeah.
There's that double humor thing there, and it works really well because it's his character. I mean, he's got a nice suit. He's coming off as, you know, it may work, it may not work, but it's entertainment. It's really good entertainment. If you haven't seen the show live, I recommend seeing it. If you haven't seen the Penguin Lectures, see it. It's fantastic. The Take Karmalovich was great. The Ashland Kennedy lecture was outstanding, and that was on one effect of the preload clock. The old anime idea, but it's done several different ways. And a lot of guys were, you know, they really didn't get it. You know, why would you use playing cards in metals? Why wouldn't you? They're coming up.
Yeah, really.
So I mean, the things that, you know, I was seeing in real quick in '85 to about '90, you know, all that crap is out the window now. It's completely wide open frame. So we can reframe it and do whatever we want to do because, you know, we think it's interesting. You know, don't do an effect that uses the newest, hottest effect on the market. You know, do an effect because you like it and you find it interesting and you think it'll be interesting for your audience. A lot of guys are just buying effects and they got 200 effects and they go out to do a magic show and they got to show you 200 effects. You might want to turn down a little bit there, Junior. Because I saw some marathon train wrecks a while back where a guy was doing a magic show. Extremely talented guy, but you know, after the 70 or 80 effect he tried to show me for 30 minutes, I'm lost. You know, when 3 or 4 of those effects would have made the entire show.
Yep.
And he had enough effects to where he could have 20 different shows. You know, so you could change the show up at Lightum as, you know, a win, but and he had killer stuff. I mean, some of the stuff was $1,000 a piece, beautiful stuff. But there's no reason to throw everything you have into one show. That's the tip for the new guys. Take a few of your best effects and let it rip.
Yeah.
That's all I do. I mean, that's what I'd say to the guys. Just, you know, slow down, take your time, work on your branding, get your name out there. Because everybody that's, you know, has a name now got their name out there in branding. And now we can do, you know, rapid branding as opposed to, you know, branding that used to take 10 to 20 years to do.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a great time to be alive if you're a young performer because you can brand yourself overnight almost. You know, within 72 hours, you can start building your brand. You know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that was a 2-year process just to create your brand so you can start building it, you know, and then it was another year or 2 to start getting it out there and more time, and more time. You know, you spend a lot of time doing it. But now you can do it almost overnight. It's beautiful. And, you know, that's what I'd say. Work on the brand. Work on the image, work on the brand. Because that's all going to tie into your work as a magician or a mentalist, and then that work is going to be stronger because you know how to brand. And that's the truth. I mean, your work will actually become stronger once you brand. And I don't care if you're doing the simplest, you know, card tricks in the world, like say you're doing the Chicago Open, and that's your whole, you know, that's your part of your 10-minute act, the Chicago Open. And you're going to close the 4-ace trick. But if you had a personal brand on that, like, you know, John Scarn had or something, that brand will carry that thing through and people will talk about it. And that's it. And that's part of the card act, 10-minute card act with maybe 3 effects. You know? And that's not complicated card magic either. There's a couple double lifts and some slides. But you see what I'm saying, though? I mean, you take 3 or 4 effects and have a nice close-up act that you can go out and, you know, work a ball or something with. Or work a small close-up show or venue or something.
Yeah, really.
I'm telling you, the tools are readily available now. You know, it used to be, you had to go travel to the magic shop and spend days up there looking through the stuff, trying to find the right piece for your show. And, you know, I can do all that. I can do what it used to take days to do in minutes now. And then we can learn the effects in minutes too. I mean, in most cases. You know, learn the core idea of the effect, and then we can add our subtleties to it and our brand. You know, let's get back to branding.
Yeah,
I mean, Keller had a brand. Thurston had a brand. Houdini, I mean, hell, his whole act was a brand. I mean, the magic was almost secondary to the brand even named Houdini. I mean, think about that. You know, he was more interested in pushing that Houdini brand than he was actually doing the effect.
Yeah.
Because the lead up to those things were, you know, 2-week lead up to do a single trick and escape. You know, but he pushed that brand so hard that everybody wanted to see that. You know, they wanted to see that what this brand is. The brand was Houdini. It's just brand. Yeah, I've read a lot of marketing stuff on magicians, and a lot of it, most of it's crap. Actually, I'd say 99% of it's crap.
Yeah.
Work on your brand, people. Work on your brand. Get it together.
Get for you.
You know, you get some, you know, and there's different things with that. And, you know, I've consulted with some guys on, you know, branding type issues, and I know there's a couple other magicians out there, the mentalists, that can help you guys consult. Because then, you know, they go out and they go from a, you know, they're doing a small show at a $150 fee, and the next week they're, you know, for some branding, they're getting a $300 fee or $350. It's the same act. It's just we changed certain key elements of the act, and it makes it more valuable to the marketplace. and gets them better work. So, you know, they did one show, they made twice the money, and now they're much happier.
Yeah,
they can afford the new toys they want to buy, you know. Because let's face it, Magic's never going to be cheap. You know, Magic and Metals is never going to be cheap. There's just too much torrents and free crap and theft going on. So it's just going to keep going up and up and up. So, you know, you just got to, the only way to combat that is to stop stealing, you know, stop downloading my shit on torrents, for example. You know, but if you build a brand, you'll have a stronger image, a stronger identity, you'll have a sense of community. Not just in the Magic and Metals community, but actually your community that you're working in. You know, working with the theaters or wherever you want to call it. I'm telling you, it's the whole planet's getting ready to change. You know, the whole thing's getting ready to change. And the, you know, the entertainers, real guys, the guys that have the brand that are able to market themselves will survive, and the rest of them will go away. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to change. You need to lead the field and get out of the way. And I'd rather see you lead the field because I find people that go out and try to lead the thing are far more interesting to talk to. And we didn't even get into seance or anything, but that's unusual. I was on episode 5 of the Seance and Spook Shows a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I shared a lot of stuff on different interviews, and this one's different from the other 2, 3. But there's always something that, you know, not hard to find. You can find my website, you can find my email, contact me through Facebook. I mean, I've pretty much got an open door policy, so if you got any questions, email.
Yeah, Bill, you got.
Yeah, we'll try to work out your brand, especially if you're balloon sculptor. I love those guys. I do, because, you know, think about it. If I'm doing metals on stage, I got a balloon sculptor I'm working with. There is no conflict of interest.
Yeah.
I won't necessarily work with a magician, but I want to work with a balloon sculptor. You know, because I don't have the EOs and the conflict of interest, because he's just trying to have a part, you know.
Yeah.
And I've hired him on some big shows and stuff. He's, you know, erotic balloon sculptor. That's what I call it. But it's fun. The crowd likes it. The girls will love it. I mean, you know, the more girls that love the shows, the better. We all are. Well, I also did rock show promotion for a while, so, you know. But we can brand it. We can brand it in. But it's a simple formula. You just got to do the work, you know. Like, I hear you're blowing up, you know. I mean, you're starting to get some notoriety and attention in your speaking circles.
Oh, yeah. I'll just be different.
Yeah, and it's changing the brand. I mean, the brand that was a year ago is not the brand that is today.
Oh, yeah.
But you see what I'm saying? It's simple stuff like that. It fixes all these problems.
You just do it, man. That's all.
Get off the couch.
That's.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I think. You know, I'll probably think something different next week. But, you know, this week,
It's all about
work on the marketing and brand. Work on that image. If you got any questions about what I talked about, hit me up at one of the Facebook sites or cafe or whatever, you know. I'm not hard to find.
Yeah.
The door's usually open, so.
Oh, yeah, we should probably mention William Cunningham.
Yeah, find me there too.
Find the mandolin.
Or you can hit me through Bill Montana on Facebook or BillMontana.com. You know, or the .com or, you know, whatever. I mean, I'm available. I'm not hard to find.
It's true.
I mean, for, you know, as reclusive as I am, you know, what they think I am, I'm pretty damn easy to find.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of controversial, and some of the stuff I'll teach these guys is controversial, you know, because it deals with the subject of, you know, improving the quality of the amount of pay we get. That seems to be a controversial, taboo topic.
It's true.
I think it's ridiculous. You can improve your pay. You're worth more than that.
Well, Bill,
I think we should wrap it up probably. What we got, 2 hours?
Yeah, we made I think we got an hour and a half.
Okay, that's shorter than some of the ones I've done.
Yeah, not bad. We covered a lot of stuff.
There's some good tips in here that they'll help you guys out.
And if you guys made it to this point, high five, dude.
Yeah.
This is little shit, dude.
Yeah, and there's some good tips in there, in the beginning and the end, and all throughout it. That if they pay attention, listen to it all the way through, they'll get some very valuable information that's not in the books. And that's why we like these things, because we're free to discuss what we want to discuss without having to, listen to somebody tell me I have to act. You're wrong. I want to do my thing.
Yeah.
And then, my guarantees pretty much says it all. I may not work that much, but I do get paid when I work.
Mm-hmm. Well. All right, then. Look her up. And for all of you tuning in right now, thank you so much. We appreciate you once again watching another segment of Mystery Arts. It's going to grow. It's going to take time. I have a very schedule, and I've got a lot planned. It's just a matter of getting around and finding. So this is Jacob signing off here, and Bill. Well,
see you guys. Been fun. Been good.
Yeah, man. We will catch you guys later for watching.